Good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, so yesterday we saw how to take photograph of the stars, night photography. Now what happened? Now what happened that there is a set formula for the night photography which we discussed about the quantity of light, quality of light and focus. These are the three things which we have to consider. So if you forget, if you think that you may forget it, so just write it down in the afternoon once we come from the safari, so that you don't forget and you follow the set protocol. Once you follow that set protocol, there is no way you can go wrong. Likewise, there is a set formula for exposure during daytime, and that is known as rule of F16 or Sunny 16 rule, which says that anything brightly lit by the sun would require an exposure of f16, that is aperture size of f16, with ISO and shutter speed reciprocal to each other. That means if your aperture is f16, your ISO is 100, your shutter speed should be 1 by 100. And if that particular setting is done, the exposure would be perfect. The only requirement is it should be brightly lit by the sun. Now you would say that why I would keep f16, I want to keep f8. Okay, you keep f8. So if you keep f8, that means what you are doing, you are increasing the size of the aperture by two stops, 16, 11, 11, 8. Okay, so here if you are increasing, that means you are allowing more light to enter by two stops. You have to reduce the light somewhere else by two stops. So ISO you are doing it 100, you cannot go down than that, or up than that, down than that, sorry. So what you do, your shutter speed you increase by two stops. So what is the two stop? 1 by 100, 1 by 200 is one stop, 200 into 2, 1 by 400, 1 by 400. So f8, 1 by 400, ISO 100. If you say no, not 8, I want to go for 5.6, so reciprocally you compensate with the shutter speed. So these are known as equivalent exposures, and you will get the same type of exposure in everything. Means exposure in the sense the brightness level in your scene, the depth of field, the sharpness, motion blur, all will differ depending upon your shutter speed and aperture size, but your exposure remains same. Now, whenever you are having a full moon night, say for example we are going to a jungle or any place where we have a full moon. Now in February we are going in Masai Mara, where we have targeted that we go for a full moon night and a night safari, and the moonrise on 24th of Feb is at 5:30 in Masai Mara. Okay, so we settle at near about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and when moon comes on the horizon, that time it looks the biggest. It is the biggest. Okay, so we spot something in the foreground and then take a moon. Animals are there, well and good. If not, at least some tree is always there. Okay, now what should be the exposure for the full moon? It is also a subject which is brightly lit by the sun. So the same formula would apply. The same formula would apply. But since it is too far and lot of haze is in between, it will eat some light. So instead of f16, you make it f11, and we call it, or in photography term, it is called as Lunny 11 rule. Okay, like Sunny 16 rule, it is a Lunny 11 rule, and then Lunny 11, then instead of 11, you can use 8, you can use 5.6, you can use 4, you can use 2.8, and reciprocally, you use your shutter speeds. Okay, so ISO, see,
100.
ISO, no, not 100. It is ISO and shutter speed are reciprocal to each other in case you are using a aperture of f11.
Yeah.
Say for example you do not want to use f11, you want to use f8. F8 is one stop less. What is one stop? One stop is multiplication or divided by 1.4. How that 1.4 has come? 1.4 is the square root of 2. The area of the circle. I'm not saying about the circumference or radius or diameter. The area of the circle is doubled or reduced by half if you multiply it by 1.4 or divide it by 1.4. So that means the area of 2.4 is half the area of 4. 4 into 1.4 is 5.6. That means the area of that circle 5.6 is half the area of 4, or 2.8 is double than 4. So that is known as one stop. Similarly, in shutter speed 1 by 100, say for example 1 by 100 second would capture 100 units of light. So 1 by 200 would capture 50 units of light. Like that. Okay, so it goes like ISO 100 would capture, say for example, 100 units of light. Okay, not capture, but it would require 100 units of light. ISO 200 would require 50 units of light. So that is your one stop principle. Okay, so we will use this particular concept now in this afternoon after we come from the safari. This was a preamble. After the safari is finished, because we have lot of time in between. Yesterday my camera broke and all those drama happened, so I was also not in that proper mood. But today everything is relaxed. Hopefully nothing more breaks. Okay. Okay. And then once yes.
I wanted to know what precaution we have to take when for what happened yesterday, because we were not moving.
See, we were not moving. What was happening? What happened? That I was holding the camera, and I think because of my bum movement, so you should not move your bum. Okay. So that is the thing. Okay. Anyway, so we will use. नहीं वो कुछ तो भी हुआ, पता नहीं अभी क्या हुआ. तो वो सी तो हम जो लंच टाइम के पहले थोड़ा आ जाएंगे, एंड देन वी विल डिस्कस ऑन फील्ड दिस एक्सपोजर प्रिंसिपल्स. Okay, because that also is very important to understand. Okay, and tomorrow we are going to discuss about the all important thing known as focusing, because I still think that focusing is not being proper, especially the manual focusing and the focus picking. You know something known as focus picking? No. Okay, so we will discuss about that focus picking. So let's move. It's 6:30 in the morning today. Yes, any question?
One doubt, because all these days we used to keep the ISO 400.
Why you are
Why
keeping?
100?
No. Why you are keeping?
Light is least.
Why you want to keep it 400? See, how much you want is not dependent on the light. Is dependent on how much shutter speed you are getting. So decide your ISO according to what shutter speed you are getting. Don't decide according to whether 100, 400, 500. That figure is a misnomer. Look at the shutter speed which you are getting, and if you think that this shutter speed is comfortable or required for that particular situation, okay, accordingly you set your ISO. Okay, all the best. Let us go. I will continue with Wasim's vehicle today morning. Afternoon I will shift to your vehicle. Okay, thank you.